Hello, callers. Welcome back to Viva Barca, and welcome to another interesting episode where we are going to discuss on some interesting updates. We start with Clement Lenglet, as Barca are reportedly open to negotiating a loan exit for the 15 million rated outcast with Tottenham Hotspur. We are going to discuss on that as we move ahead. Secondly, in this episode, we talk about Ilkay Gundogan, who in a recent interview talks about his admiration for Pedri as well as Gavi. So guys, as we get right into the full stories, please do ensure to subscribe if you haven't. Turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. Having had no success in their attempts to sell Clement Lenglet permanently thus far, Barcelona are now open to negotiating a loan deal with Tottenham Hotspur for the Frenchman. According to reports from Sport, Lenglet is out of favour at Barca and spends the last season away on loan at Tottenham. The 28-year-old has been linked with a permanent move back to North London, but talks have not progressed. The measures taking point, as per widespread reports, was Barca's 15 million euro asking price, which Spurs were unwilling to meet. So Lenglet's steep wages are a burden that Barcelona are not in a position to bear at this point, especially with the registration of some other players stalling. As such, they have now opened the doors to loan Lenglet to Tottenham once again, or any other club for that matter. As mentioned, the Blaugrana wish to get rid of Lenglet's wages one way or the other, and with no permanent transfer appearing in sight, they are now willing to negotiate another loan exit for him. Al Nassr from Saudi Arabia, were willing to sign Lenglet on a permanent transfer, but Lenglet does not wish to leave Europe despite having suffered a very lucrative contract. Other clubs such as AC Milan and Juventus are also interested, but cannot cover his entire salary, which is why Tottenham remain in the picture. The Lily Whites, though, must sanction a few departures before they can resign Lenglet on a loan, and as such, it looks very likely that the Frenchman's future will drag on until the final days of this summer transfer window. It will be interesting, however, to see if Spurs and Barcelona are able to come to an agreement over Lenglet's loan move in the coming days. Of course, for the longest time, Barca have been trying to offload Lenglet, but without avail. Lenglet was not even supposed to be here. Had it been, he accepted offers that came his way, especially the one from Saudi Arabia. And Nasser came with a big offer to pay him better, but the players continue to say he doesn't want to leave Europe now. And that have been a big problem. That have given a lot of headache for the Barca officials who have been trying to get rid of Lenglet because his wages this season are high. He's reportedly having now an increased wages of 16 million euros per season. And we know that Barcelona under Laporta have come up with a salary ceiling of 10 million at most. But the fact that Lenglet did sign his contract when he joined under Josep Maria Bartomeu as president at the time, when we know the salaries of players were extremely high. Lenglet now is one of the highest, if not the highest earned. And of course, that is why Barca are desperately trying all the time to push him out before the summer window comes to a close. We are talking about just 10 days left. 10 days left for the summer window to come to an end. And it will be very important for Barca to strike a deal to let go of Lenglet, who really wants to play regularly. But of course, under Xavi Hernandez, it doesn't look possible. But it's still very difficult. It's still very difficult. So now the idea is Barca are still pushing him to go to Tottenham. Since as Tottenham have refused that, they will never give that 15 million euros that Tottenham and Barca are asking. Barca wants to try and see if they can negotiate for another loan move for Lenglet to Tottenham, just like how they did last season, where he spent his entire season on a loan move. And for me, in my own opinion, I don't see why Barca should be going again for another loan move for Lenglet. €5 million that Tottenham have demanded, oh sorry, €5 million that Tottenham have proposed to pay. If push come to shove, why wouldn't they take that amount? Because Lenglet has no plan. He's not even in our plans. He, he's not even in our plans. So why is Barca making as if? Because the highest thing is if he leaves Barca, that €16 million that he will be taking per season, he's out, like completely out. So if I was Barca, I take the €5 million from Tottenham and offload him permanently. It's not even a loan, permanently. And that wages, which is quite heavy on our wage bill, will be disappearing out. But now Barca is thinking that they must receive 15 million, which they know that it will never come. And why should they be going for another loan move? Because if they're going for another loan move, it means they are still prepared to pay Lenglet a certain amount of that wages because he will never be entirely on Tottenham's head. They will pay a fraction. For me, it makes no sense at all. It makes no sense if this report is to be believed. Lenglet, of course, he knows for sure that Xavi does not fancy him playing this season. So why is Barca making as if he's too expensive, €15 million, knowing that no, because Juventus, Napoli, Inter have all been showing interest this summer. But guess what? They are saying that the value is too high and they can't pay for the player. But Barca keep on insisting. I don't understand the type of business that we are doing. Then moving on to the final story of discussion. Ilkay Gundogan, in many ways, is Barca's marquee signing of this summer. The player may have arrived from City on free, but he is arguably one of the best in the business in the middle of the park. The veteran made his debut for Barca in the first pre-season game against Arsenal and played his first official game for the team last weekend at the Coliseum Alfonso Perez. In an interview earlier this week, Gundogan spoke in depth about his time at Barca, relationships with other players and the manager. He first opened up about his connection with Pedri and Gavi and how he communicated with them despite language barrier. He said, Pedri and Gavi are two sensational teammates that I do like a lot. I can't talk to them much because of the language barrier. They can't speak English, but it's really fun to play with them. Pedri, for example, stands in front of you, looks at you and tries to communicate in any way. Gundogan also had words of praise for his ex-boss and former Barca manager Pep Guardiola. Under whose tutelage he won the treble last season. He spoke openly about the gratitude he had for the legendary manager. He said, the best moments of my career have been with Pep. I'll never forget him. He's the most successful manager I've had in my career. Tactically, Pep is the best I have had in my life. I learned a lot from him. And of course, I'm so grateful for the 7 wonderful years that I worked with him. Of course, on Xavi Hernandez and his similarity with Pep in their approach, he said, I think that Xavi and Pep come from the same school of thought. Xavi was like that when he was the captain of Pep's Barca, so maybe he knows him better than I do. So guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.